He had convinced himself that she had moved on, that she had climbed to greater heights. But everything changed the moment he found her, exhausted, barely holding on, buried under endless hospital shifts.
And what he did next.
It changed both of their lives in ways neither of them could have ever imagined. The fluorescent lights of Westvale General Hospital flickered softly above as Ryan Coldwell, billionaire CEO of Coldwell Tech, stepped through the automatic sliding doors. But this wasn't a business visit. He wasn't here to strike a deal or expand his empire. His mother had been admitted for observation, and he needed to check in. Clad in a sleek, expensive suit, he was a man used to commanding attention. People usually noticed him instantly, whispered his name, pointed him out, sometimes even approached him. But today, he was the one who stopped in his tracks. There, standing at the nurse's station, casually flipping through a patient's chart, was a face he hadn't seen in over a decade. Emily Carter, his childhood best friend. The girl who once outshined him in math competitions. The one who had spent their late-night study sessions talking about becoming a world-class doctor. The girl who had disappeared from his life after high school, with dreams too big to be contained. And now she was here. A nurse? Ryan's brows pulled together, confusion knotting his thoughts.
How? Why?
As if sensing his gaze, Emily glanced up. The moment their eyes met, her breath hitched, and shock flashed across her face. Ryan? She whispered, almost like she didn't believe he was real. A slow, knowing smile crept across his lips. Emily Carter. Of all places, I never thought I'd see you here. She let out a soft, breathless laugh, shaking her head. Neither did I. But Ryan wasn't laughing. Not really. Because the longer he looked, the more he saw. The exhaustion beneath her eyes. The way her shoulders slumped under an invisible weight. The way she clutched that clipboard like it was the only thing keeping her upright. Something was wrong. And as they spoke, as they caught up on lost time, Ryan's gut twisted. She had spent years fighting for med school, juggling multiple jobs just to stay afloat, drowning in student debt, sacrificing everything, until eventually she had to let go of the dream. The Emily he remembered never gave up. She was the most determined person he had ever known. Yet here she was, stuck in a career she was never meant to settle for. And at that moment, Ryan made a choice. A promise. A decision that would change everything. If the world had failed Emily Carter, then he would set things right. The next morning, Ryan couldn't get her out of his head. The smartest person he had ever known. A woman who once had dreams that stretched beyond the stars, now reduced to endless, grueling shifts, just trying to get by. It didn't sit right with him. Not one bit. So he picked up his phone. Get me the records for Emily Carter, he told his board of directors at Coldwell Medical Foundation, one of the largest scholarship funds in the country. I want to know exactly how much debt she has. Then pay it off. Every
last
cent. A silence followed. Sir, are you sure? Ryan didn't hesitate. Every
last
cent. And that's not all. Find out if her med school applications can be reopened. If she still wants to be a doctor, nothing is standing in her way. No more barriers. No more roadblocks. This time she wins. That evening, Emily sat alone in the hospital break room, her head resting in her hands. Another shift drained her, but the weight she carried was heavier than just exhaustion. Her phone buzzed. A new email. She almost ignored it, until the subject line made her breath catch. Student loan account balance. Paid in full. Her heart slammed against her ribs. Her hands shook as she clicked it open. It wasn't just a payment. It was everything. Every loan. Every penny of debt gone. Her vision blurred.
How?
Who? Then another email. Coldwell Medical Foundation. Full scholarship approved. Emily's breath hitched. Her chest tightened. This wasn't real. It couldn't be real. And then her phone buzzed again. A text. Ryan Coldwell. Dinner tomorrow. We need to talk. Her hand flew to her mouth as a sob broke free. Because deep down she already knew. Ryan had done this. He had changed everything. The next night, Emily sat across from him at a rooftop restaurant, still reeling from the whirlwind of events. Her student loans?
Gone.
Her med school dreams?
Revived.
Her future? Restored. It was too much. Too unreal. Across from her, Ryan sat back, smirking, acting like he hadn't just flipped her entire world upside down. She exhaled sharply. Tell me the truth. Was it you? His expression didn't waver. Was what me? Ryan. She leaned forward, gripping her glass. My loans. My med school application. You did this, didn't you? His smirk softened.
Yeah.
I did. Hearing him admit it made it all real. Her emotions tangled. Gratitude. Disbelief. Something else she couldn't name. I can't accept this. His eyes narrowed. Why not? Because it's too much. Med school isn't cheap. Why would you do this for me? Ryan leaned forward, voice steady. Because you were never supposed to give up, Emily. Her throat tightened. You were supposed to change lives. And you got stuck because life threw obstacles at you. That's not fair. And if I have the power to remove those obstacles, he shrugged, then I will. Emily blinked back tears. Ryan smirked. Besides, I'm a billionaire. What's the point of all this money if I can't use it to help someone who actually deserves it? A choked laugh escaped her. You always were dramatic. His grin widened. And you were always too stubborn. She looked down, overwhelmed. I don't know how to repay you for this. His voice softened. Just promise me one thing. She met his gaze. Anything. Become the doctor you were always meant to be. Tears slipped down her cheeks. Because at that moment, she realized her dream wasn't lost. It had only been waiting. And thanks to Ryan, she finally had her second chance.